very strong, like turpentine.
Ooh,
That's
that's
nice.
some good shit.
Preparation is the key when making fire. And the goal is to make a bunch of these, and you just make them.
It's really hot in here. It feels like I'm in a sauna.
This episode is going to be about making fire. We need a fire for several reasons. He's going to need it to have a warm night. If he's wet, maybe he went to gather water, fell in, or it's raining, he needs to dry his gear. He doesn't have any water purification, so the only way would be to boil water, and if he would find some food, then he would want to cook it.
So pretty much I need fire for maintaining my body temperature. I need fire in order to purify water. I need fire for signaling. I need fire for light and cooking food. So I need fire for a bunch of things.
Pretty much it's essential to know how to make a fire, keep it up, and have the right type of fire.
Okay, so it's pretty much the bare bones basic. I need to know how to get the fire going. I need it for a bunch of things. So how do I get started?
Preparation is the key when making fire. So you need a fire starter. So there's many different ways to start the fire. You can do it without anything. That's the most difficult, and most people are unable to do it, even with proper instruction. For that, you should have some type or several types of fire starting tools on you. So one of them would be fire steel. That's my favorite. Never fails me. Works in every condition all the time, and it lasts almost forever. So I've never used up a fire steel. You can of course have lighters, matches, all the other things that you can light the fire with, but they aren't as reliable as a fire steel. So fire steel is a must. Everything else is supplementary.
Yeah, so it makes sense to carry many fire starters in my kit constantly. So maybe I have a fire steel from the FC kit just around my neck or anywhere on my body.
Yep.
And then have contingencies, just have a lighter that's maybe packed waterproof somewhere in my chest rig, or it doesn't have to be hard for me. If I can keep many options on the table, then it makes sense that I have a lighter in my chest rig. It's not that hard to carry around.
Absolutely. So we're not going to focus on lighting a fire with a lighter or matches, because that's easy. Anyone can do it. We're going to do it when we're going to show you a way. If you don't have those, all you have is a fire steel, and maybe a way if you don't even have a fire steel. So for that, we need Tinder. Not the one on your phone, but to light the fire.
So you're saying that preparation is key, and you mean by that what do you mean by that?
So what you shouldn't do is go get some Tinder, go sit down, try and light your Tinder. Now my Tinder is going, but shit, I don't have any firewood. Yeah. So you run out, maybe you had a lucky strike, you got your Tinder going, and your Tinder burns out, and you have nothing to light with your Tinder. So gather everything you need. So get Tinder, get kindling, get some firewood, and then prep the area and make the fire. And then while it's already strong and going, then you can get extra firewood. But I would recommend getting all your firewood beforehand, so you don't have to go away from your fire for too long. It might die out, you might lose your fire.
Okay.
And don't burn it unnecessarily. So if you're not utilizing the fire,
why let it burn?
Yeah. So get everything ready, and now, okay, I need to go to sleep, I need to purify water, I need to cook food, I need to dry my clothes. I'm going to light the fire and start doing everything.
Okay, so what I'm taking away from this is that I need to collect all the materials beforehand, before I light the fire.
Correct.
And so pretty much I need some tinder. That's like the birch bark, some very, very small sticks, like the smallest ones. And
this.
Yeah, and the way that I'm mentally approaching this task of finding tinder is that in my head I'm going from smallest to biggest. So I'm currently looking for those very, very thin, like 1-2 millimeters thick sticks.
So in Estonia, it's very easy, especially here. So all we need is tinder, and we can get kindling, endless kindling from every single spruce tree that's around here. So all of this, So we have kindling, endless supply of. So what we need right now is tinder and firewood.
So can you define tinder and kindling?
Tinder is something that catches the spark and creates a flame. This stuff, you might be able to light it, but
it's already too thick. Yeah, it's like 3 to 5 millimeters. I'm looking for that 1 millimeter thick, and also birch bark to combine with it, probably. Yeah.
I would. Yeah. This is kindling. This is not tinder.
So tinder is the one that catches the spark.
Yep.
And starts the first flame, and then
and this one
kindling goes on top
of it, and then firewood is next.
And then for fuel, yeah.
And kindling, you can have different stages. So the worse the weather, so if you have really windy or wet conditions, then you don't want to go straight from kindling like this into firewood.
Fuel, yeah.
So you need thicker, and even more thicker until you have like a strong flame going, and then you put on the firewood. But today it hasn't been raining for a couple of days, which is rare in Estonia. But today I think we can go straight from this kind of kindling straight to firewood.
Okay. And
let's try it.
And when it's raining, I'm looking for the lowest part of trees. Usually it's dry here, right?
Yes, if you look at the spruce trees, they shed off water pretty well. So all of those are gonna be pretty dry
areas where I'm
in the rain.
Looking to collect this stuff from is at the bottom of the trees. So
yes,
here I can see
perfect.
Here I can see a gold mine of those 1 millimeter thick.
And this is bone dry. It'll light.
Even I have latent used those even during heavy rain.
Yeah.
If there's a canopy on top of you, some greens, heavy downpour, those even stay dry. And I have found myself, if I'm on the moving towards my extraction point, and I see some sweet kindling or tinder, then I usually just grab some and put it in my pocket. Or if I have like a spare or used up MRE plastic bag container, some trash, maybe like a Ziploc bag on my kit, then I just take it, collect some birch bark, collect some birch bark when I see it, and I stash it away for later, because I never know when I need to quickly light the fire.
Yeah, so if you're in a situation like this, it would be always good to be like proactive. As you're moving, always gather resources, and getting the right tinder is a good idea as you're going. You don't then you don't have to start foraging for it when you're in need to.
Let's say it gets cold, I fall in the water, or maybe I have to maybe I just have to go through a river or some other water obstacle to evade the enemy, so all of my kit gets wet. If I have this tinder and kindling stowed away in a Ziploc bag, that can be the difference between life or death for me.
So let's go find some tinder. Right now we're looking for good tinder. This type of birch bark is really hard to get off in decent pieces, so I wouldn't be going for this. But if you look further that way, if you see a lot of this white, it's easier to get off. You cut a few lines and then you can pull like large chunks off, and that's easy to light.
So I'm looking for a tree that's a bit thicker and has less of this moss type thing growing on it and more white areas.
And if you're doing this for training, you don't have to use live trees. There's dead birch on the ground, and you can grab that birch bark off of those. If you look at this bark, this paper thin, it's even thinner than paper. This one is the one that catches the spark the easiest. So if you're not very good at this, this is what you're looking for. This catches the easiest. So if you cut this part off and scrape it with the knife even more, then these little strands catch pretty much anything. But yeah, let's pick a tree. Let's get a strip of birch bark, and let's go find some other types of tinder, and then we're gonna light the fire.
So I guess I want like a small piece from here.
Here's a knife. So you want one solid piece. Let's not take too much. So I would say this section would be good for our purposes.
What I have done usually is like cut the whole circle, but you shouldn't do that for a tree, or So pretty much I'm trying to outline the piece I'm trying to cut. So
I wouldn't waste time on making the horizontal cut, because all you need is vertical. Then you pull it off, because the strands go this way or the fibers go that way. So all you need is pretty much 2 vertical, and you can start peeling it off.
let's see.
So you can maybe use your 2 hands, so
Get the whole blade in there.
make it deeper. Take the corner off like this. Squeeze the knife under the bark, so this one has nice thick bark. It's gonna catch a fire really good. The thing right now is, since it's still growing new leaves right now, there's moisture here, so it's not the driest birch bark.
So I should be looking for a birch tree that
And now
doesn't have any leaves on it.
Nah, it's just the springtime. It's what it is. And now, yeah, cut it off.
We're not gonna hurt this tree anymore.
And that's more than we need, actually.
Yeah, and I can see that the top layer is very, very dry. Yeah, I can feel it. And the bottom layer, there's some moisture in there, but if I scrape it, then the dry part comes out, right?
I mean, you don't even need to scrape it. It's gonna burn when it's wet.
Yeah, and if I take it apart, this is super dry and catches fire easily.
So to make a fire, actually, this is my favorite type of firewood. We already mentioned this earlier, but it's easy to gather. And if you can pull it out from the ground like this, this is ideal firewood. I know it looks crazy right now. It looks like a wet piece of shit, but it's not wet. It's really heavy, and that's all from sap. So if you take a closer look, smell this.
Yeah, you can even see the sap over here. It looks like oily.
So it's infused completely with sap, and when we light this, this goes on for hours and hours.
Okay, so we're gonna use this as our main fuel source.
Yeah, and if you look at this, this is what it looks like in the ground. So it looks like a useless rotten stump, but we can get really solid firewood from here. So I don't have to cut down much. And if I was staying in one spot for a couple of hours, that's all I need for firewood. And sometimes you can find gold mines like this, so you can utilize all of this for the whole night, and that's all the firewood I would have to get. So this isn't moisture, this is pure sap. If you smell this, it's, cameraman here, smell it. Very strong, like turpentine.
Ooh,
that's nice.
That's some good shit.
That's nice. Yeah.
Like that's, I would buy the elixir of that or something and make like a fragments out of this, or
yeah, something that you have in your house burning like on a wick, and your house smells like this. That would be ideal.
That's good.
And this burns like crazy. So to show you how this burns, it looks like it's dipped in gasoline, but I swear to you, you just saw I pulled it out of the ground.
I licked it once though.
And cracked it, but I'll show you what a small strand of this looks like when I light it.
What the hell? No way.
So it looks like it's it burns off with black smoke.
What the hell?
Literally.
That's insane.
Once it gets going, it's like it's a literal torch.
I've been doing this for 10 years and I learned this now. So.
And the ground is full of this stuff, and it's the best firewood. Easy to gather. Took me like 20 seconds to get this, and it'll burn forever.
That's dope.
And if you take a closer look at it, as the heat travels up, it melts out this sap, and that's what makes it burn like this.
So what I have done here, as you told me, I have collected some tinder and kindling. So going from smallest to biggest, I have my birch bark that can catch my first initial sparks. Then those sparks I plan to light in fire with those millimeter thick small sticks that I have gathered from the bottom of the trees, and then I have made a pile that's 3 to 4 millimeter thickness, and then already my first fuel that I can use to light the.
So this is like pencil thickness. These ones you want to gather a bunch. So there's a bit thicker ones, bit thinner ones. Get a bunch of this if you're lighting something like this, because it's slightly damp on the outside. You have to get it going, but if it's going, it's good. If you have dry standing wood and you have split them using your knife and a baton, then make a couple smaller ones of those, and then you can already use the fire coming from this size kindling into like an actual fire.
Let's get some dry standing wood and chop them up as well, so we can try it both with trunks and with dry standing wood.
Let's go find something that's like around 10 centimeter diameter. I think just knock down another dead standing, and we can get some extra kindling from here, and we'll snap it in several sections to make it easier for us to store at our campsite, and then we'll light both of these and see how they burn. This one is super dry. When I was carrying it, it was extremely light but yet springy, and it's not rotten, so this is perfect firewood. And it takes very little energy to gather these compared to like bigger logs. Bigger ones burn longer, this one burns faster, so it's a balancing game. So, do you know any good techniques to snap thicker pieces of firewood? So this one, you can actually just jump in the middle of that. It'll snap
on it, I think. Yeah.
Try it. So, broke right there. This one might not break just this easily. What you can do is find a spot like this, turn your head so you don't get hit in the face, and you can just create yourself some decent pieces of firewood.
So that's
much
like
easier to manage.
Poor man's sawmill that you just created here.
Just keep in mind, this makes a ton of noise. You can probably hear it from the highway if it's a quiet day. So this is more of a campsite, LARPing, camping style thing, but it's doable. So how do I do it quietly? I'll just burn them in half and just keep burning those bigger pieces in half, and then I have smaller pieces in the end. Now we can start the fire. For demonstration purposes, let's make those two fires here, because it's really hard to film that when we're down at the shelter, but we will transfer the fire into the shelter and show you how the reflector works, and he's gonna crawl next to it and explain to us how warm it feels.
Okay, let's get started.
To start the fire easily, you need a good knife. What determines a good knife is, for me, for this purpose, something that the spine is sharp. It's sometimes a bad thing, you might cut yourself, but that's your problem if you're not wearing gloves. So this is the edge, this is the spine, and the spine has a 90-degree edge, and if you feel that it's really sharp, you can actually scrape your
so it's a
nail.
Sharp 90-degree angle. It's not like sharp as the blade, but it's a 90-degree angle that I can still
that's
use for
the edge that you can really use for scraping the fire steel. I don't want to use the edge of my knife. I can, but why scrape your most important tool on a piece of metal? I think it's pretty obvious. So to prepare the birch bark, just scrape that. You scrape the top layer into this very fine strands. So once you have a decent pile of those shavings or scrapings, then you can place, and you have everything prepped next to you, then you can place the tip of your fire steel in front of that pile and take a good scrape at it. And then you can take those thin strands of birch bark that I would put those first when it catches, and then you can start adding the different size kindling. So this knife actually has a fire steel in it, and there's an extra one in our kit. So let's try it. Don't spray a bunch of really light sparks. Do a really good strong stroke, and it should go in one go. See? And there it goes. Add some more birch bark for the flame to get strong. And then once it's going, start adding kindling, starting from the smallest and then upgrading as they catch fire. So after doing this, now stow away your fire steel and your knife, and now it's rumbling already. So at this point, don't smother it, just keep feeding it.
Just give it a few seconds so the medium thickness stuff can catch fire, and then I'll already add my bigger sticks.
The good thing with the birch bark is it actually works both as tinder and kindling, since it burns so well. If you have a bunch of birch bark, you oftentimes do not even need kindling if you have enough birch bark. And in our environment, most of the time we do have enough birch bark to use it as tinder and kindling. So once you have your largest kindling already catching fire, then you can start placing those bigger pieces of firewood where it starts catching flame.
So I have the sticks on fire, and I think now I'll add my dry standing wood.
Yep, now it's going pretty well. You're not gonna smother it by adding firewood. So one downside of using dead spruce is, as you see, a bunch of spikes on it. It's really hard to
get those away.
So you can snap them off. If you have an axe, it's good. If you have a larger knife, it's good. Otherwise, just try and snap them. And if you have a piece like this, I would recommend burning it from the middle, so it'll be easier to manage later. It burns through, and then you already have two pieces.
Yeah.
And right now, this is the size of fire maximum that I would have in your shelter, because if you're around here, you can already feel the heat. And if you make it any bigger, then the flames might, when the wind shifts, they might start giving you...
Yeah, it's really hot in here.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm in a sauna. Feels nice.
Going any bigger, it's going to create the signature, maybe more light pollution, more smoke. Keep it small. Make sure your fire gets enough air. If it starts burning down into the ground, it's going to lose air. There's going to be a lot of smoke, a lot of smell giving you away.
But they're going to see me with thermals. Otherwise,
yeah, we're going to bust that myth as well. You're going to see it with the thermal if you have straight line of sight. How do we mitigate it? We make camouflage. So already that plastic in front of the fire, the thermal will not see through that. You put a couple of you plant a couple of spruce trees into the open areas, it already mitigates the signature.
Yeah, but it's like obvious that this is a highly heightened signature that somebody observing like from a drone or helicopter can maybe spot you with thermals, but what other chance do I have? I freeze to death or don't drink any water. That's gonna be way worse for me. So at some point I have to do it.
Yes, during my evasion exercises, I have done a bunch of them. 4 nights out of 5, I made a fire. There were helicopters, there were drones, there were companies of soldiers with tracking dogs looking for me. Not a single time did I get caught because of a fire. I got caught once because I was stupid, and I got cocky. So never because of a fire.
So the moral is that you have to choose a good place where you do it. Currently we're in a hole, so there's actually no direct line of sight.
The only thermal that would see us is right from that hole right there.
Yeah.
So that's a very unlikely chance that someone will be looking directly at you and he would see you anyway, not just the fire. He will see you just as well as the fire.
Yeah.
So I would worry about the smoke and the smell more than the thermal signature.
So how far do you think the smoke is gonna give me away and the smell?
I think if there's nothing else burning around here, couple 100 meters to a kilometer, depending. If they're on vehicles, they're not going to smell it. If they're patrolling on foot, maybe. But also it has to match with the wind. The wind has to blow in their direction. If they're walking that way, they probably won't smell it. It's a game of chances, and this is something you sometimes have to do, and you just take the risk, and you try to mitigate every aspect as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the size of fire that I would need before I'm gonna add those sap stumps or whatever you call them. You just put it on there, and as it heats up, it starts oozing out the sap, and then all you have to do is just keep that little fire going, and it kind of feeds itself. The way I would utilize these is I would have two, like the other one as well. I would have two, and I can manage the size of the fire and the heat by either putting them closer together or pulling them slightly apart, so I can manage the size that way.
So I have both
in the fire.
Both in the fire, and if I want, I can push or pull on the side. So, and this already dries up the part that's furthest from the flame, and if I have more firewood, I would probably set it.
If the firewood is somewhat damp, then you can lay them next to the fire. It is a dangerous game. I've had my pile of firewood take fire in the middle of the night. I had to pretty much douse my pile of firewood with my only drinking water, which was unfortunate, but it's a dangerous exercise. It's a dangerous game. That's why we train for it.
Yeah, there's I think a bunch of videos on YouTube which teach you all kinds of crazy different types of fires, self-feeding fires. Some guys build ramps that logs, like go into.
That's bushcraft.
There's stealth fires like Dakota fire pit. You need to have very dense ground, because here if I dig a tunnel like that, it just collapses. And if you're looking to make some super Gucci different types of fires, I think there's a bunch of bushcraft channels on YouTube already doing that. So we don't have to go like very, very deep into million different types of fires.
Most important would be just make fires, try them out. Looking at the video, knowing theoretical knowledge doesn't help you as much as actually going out, touching grass and making fires.
Yeah, the activity of gathering the birch bark, you need to even practice that activity alone, and then you get the birch bark, and then how you take those scrapes, the technique of how you grab your knife from the front to have more control over it so you can scrape it, and then igniting the fire rod. That like we can go into detail about the lighting part. I think it's the most important one. So what is your technique of how you hold it? Do you move the fire rod or do you move the knife, and everything like that?
There's two ways of doing it. You either scrape it with the knife or you pull the fire rod. I've used both. I've stayed with scraping it because I can place it on the exact spot that I want to use it on. It always works for me. The thing with pulling it is, if this is the maximum distance, or the distance I can hold my knife. Let's say I want to light this here. If I push my knife towards it, then all the sparks are gonna end up right where I want them to. If I hold my knife in one place and I pull my fire rod, then the hottest part of the sparks is gonna be where the knife is, and that's gonna be away from here. There's still sparks landing on it, but I want the hottest part to land straight where my tinder is.
So you're hold the fire rod at one place and scrape with the knife team.
Yeah, I've done both. I've ended up using move the knife. So both work. That's why you have to go out and try it and find out what works for you. Here's another great option for tinder. In English, I think it's called old man's beard. In Estonian, I have no clue, but it looks like old man's beard. It's really thin strands, and it catches fire from the fire steel extremely well in these conditions. The only downside of this is it actually takes up moisture pretty easily. So if you're gathering this in the morning and there was dew, it's going to suck it all up and it's going to be wet. However, it dries really fast because it's hanging from trees. If there's a breeze, it's dry and there's sun, right now it's bone dry, and I'll show you how it lights. So I'm going to gather a bunch of it and I'll show you how well this works. If it's wet while you're gathering it, just put it in a pocket where you don't sweat too much, walk around, and when you need it, you'll have it ready to go. And then in Estonia it grows mostly on spruce trees. And of course you can use dry grass. When you don't have birch bark and you see some of this growing on trees, then gather it, use it. It needs to be dry. In a situation like this, how can you tell something is dry? It's good to use your tongue or your lips. If you touch it, you can tell immediately if it's wet or dry. Same with firewood. So don't start processing all this wood until you know that it's dry, and you can use the same technique. If you put your tongue to it or your lips to it, you can immediately tell this is bone dry. If it's wet, it feels a little bit colder. You'll know the difference. For some reason, you can tell right away.
Yeah, your lips are the best body part to tell if something's dry or not.
So go ahead, try this tinder.
No.
So technique-wise, with this one, yeah, the spray of sparks works really well as well because it has so many strands, and it catches. Then you can turn it the other way, and it goes like this. And it's actually an interesting smell coming from it.
No, I blew it out.
It's too bunched up. If you open it up more,
yeah, it's gonna get
it smothers itself. Yeah, just shower it. It's not as stable as birch bark. If birch bark starts, it's gonna go. This one, it might smother itself. As you see, it's gonna fill up with smoke, and it's not going to get enough air to keep going, and it's going to die out.
But you can see it's burning.
It gets the kindling going, and then you're set. That's all Tinder is for, is to find dates. I mean, to get the kindling going. If you see, we gathered this. This is also perfect kindling. So if you get this going, then you have kindling.
Some parts from the tree trunk.
Yeah, so you can break off strands, just shave pieces with your knife from this part, and you can actually make this into really good tinder as well. We can try that if you want. So just shavings of this will actually catch spark as well. This is why you don't want an expensive knife. I'm not gonna do this with a $300 knife. Let the feather stick. You take a piece of wood that's dry, and you start. Yeah, it's so dry that it kind of breaks off. So you want the pieces to stay intact. Like this. And the goal is to make a bunch of these. And this is some of the best kindling out there, next to those thin spruce twigs. So you light the birch bark, throw these on, it catches, and these larger parts start burning as well, and it's like all the levels of kindling in one piece, and you can make it from dry firewood. Now we're going to show you a close-up of how to prepare your birch bark. So easiest way, these thin shavings is something that lights the easiest. If you have these, it actually all you need to do is just make them into a pile like this, and that's it. If your birch bark doesn't have this, if you don't have that, then you just make them and you scrape the top layer of your birch bark. So when it's raining outside or it's just moist weather, then the outside of the birch bark can be wet, but it still lights, because if you scrape down, it's dry and it'll light just the same. So this is all I need to make. And then just light the feather stick. And then you get the birch bark going. It's gonna curl in on itself. I've had it smother itself out. Now that it's going, the thinner ones are going. Thicker ones. Now we can start adding the larger pieces of kindling. So the way I like to add these is just not throw them on top. I want to create a good environment for them to catch fire. So I lay them like this. It allows for air to pass through it and catch fire. So make like a triangle out of them. And once the bigger ones go, then we can start adding firewood like this. So right now the shelter is pretty much set up. He's got the fire going. I would definitely get more firewood, a couple more of these, and a bunch more of those dry standing. If they're wet, you can dry them close to the fire, not too close, not too far. The organization you have under your shelter is also important. So when you take your chest rig off, when you take your backpack off, where you put your weapon, everything has to be laid out perfectly. So when you get woken up in the middle of the night, you know what to grab, what to pull, and how to get out of here. So for the shelter, you're not just gonna make the shelter, go to sleep, and that's it. You also have to plan out your escape route. So for each scenario, when the enemy comes from there, I'm gonna scout out the best way to start evading that way. When they're coming from that way, I find out the best route to go that way, and that sort of stuff. So you should look at the map, you should look at your surroundings and make a plan. And you also, depending on the situation, you have to think, what am I gonna do with my stuff? Am I gonna take those extra 10 seconds, 20 seconds to take my shelter with me? If they're right here shooting at me, you're just gonna run. If you hear something, if you smell something, if you see a light, maybe you have more time, you gather all your stuff and you move away quietly, you put out their fire, and that would be depending on a situation. There's no rule, you just have to plan for each scenario.
So I'm currently under the tarp in the shelter. I decided to stash my firewood here by the fire to block it from direct observation and also kind of act as a heat reflector. This is enough for a couple of hours. For the whole night I would need a bit more. Pretty comfy stuff. This tree over there doesn't actually grow there, it's planted. So that's my epic camouflage.
Now, if he was to stay here for the night and actually have to sleep here, I think he would be pretty fine. The location is good, resources are good. He would probably put some more bedding, get some more fire material, maybe plan out his surroundings and start getting himself some water. What's the next episode? Just that we're gonna talk about water, purifying, what you should have with you and how to do all of that. See you then.